All right, hey, what's up, y'all? So we're in this 30-day reset, and we are now moving into week 2. This is days 8 through 14. And so in this video, I just want to cover the recommendations for the second week. Now, this is your personal 30-day reset, and that means that if you had some challenging goals for the first week and you just need to recommit to those basic goals, that's totally cool. Because remember, this health journey that we're on, it's a lifelong journey, and it's very personal and bio-individual, which means that we're going to bounce in and out of being on it and not feeling like we're on it at all, and that's totally fine as long as we're constantly getting back on it and learning from those experiences, and you can meet this where you can. But if you were successful or relatively successful, or if you feel like you're ready for some additional goals, then I want to review what those recommendations are for this second week. All right, so for food, super simple. Last week it was all about reading ingredients, making sure that we are choosing things made with good ingredients, and that means that we had access to all the things that we enjoy: the Siete chips, the tortillas, the Strauss's ice cream, the gluten-free pizzas. The second week, what I want us to focus on is, let's see how many days we can get in of 100% real food, right? And that means that your meals are looking like some animal foods, some vegetables and or greens. The animal foods, vegetables, and greens can be fresh or frozen, it doesn't matter. Always using the appropriate traditional fats. We're getting our carbohydrates from safe starches and from fruits, and a little honey and chocolate, dark chocolate, okay? So that means none of the SHT approved processed foods. You can still use condiments, dressings, sauces, ketchup, mustard, mayo, and things like that, but the majority of what we're eating is real food based, okay? I also want us to consider pulling back on our carbohydrates, because next week we're going to try to do a low carb stint. So ideally we're measuring out to about a half a cup of safe starches and a half a cup of fruit per day, and that can be spread out anytime that you want throughout the day. And then just make sure that you're tracking that in your diligence tracker the way that you feel like it's appropriate for you, because we have a calendar, we have a tracker, and maybe you have your own way of doing that, okay? So really the main focus for this next week is being a real foodie, okay? And as many days as we can get in a week as possible. When it comes to sleep, last week our main focus was trying to get to bed 15 minutes earlier than we were before, with our projected rise time and having an alarm associated with that. So now I want us to focus on setting circadian rhythms in a positive direction by getting some brightness. Now you can meet this where you can. The recommendation is 30 minutes cumulative brightness in a day, which means that you can accumulate 30 minutes of being outside and getting some brightness, morning, midday, afternoon, it doesn't matter. If that isn't possible or feasible for you because of your situation and your family life and your work schedule, then another option for that would be to set an alarm to make sure that you get out and get some midday sun at the brightest time of day. All right, so we're looking for 10 to 15 minutes there. That's really powerful. I've done that for a while. There was a time that I was so busy it was hard for me to get the total of 30 minutes, but I was able to set a timer, get outside during my lunch break, and get that 10 to 15 minutes during the brightest time of the day. And I can almost guarantee you that you're going to notice some improvements in the quality of your sleep. Continue using an alarm for the 1.5 to 2 hours before your projected bedtime to kind of cue you to wind down. And now what I'd like us to do is focus on an evening routine, whatever that is to you. I'm just going to come up with some suggestions here. We have these in the notes in the week 2. Journaling is great. And I've always wondered, what the heck does it mean to journal? Like you hear about the benefits of journaling, and you've got like recommended questions and things like that. What I have found to be really beneficial is, because this is what I'm looking for anyway, what was it about my day that was great? What were the funny moments? What were the epiphanies? What were the learning experiences? What are some things that I'd like to remember going forward? That's one great topic to kind of journal on. All right, just reflect on your day, go through it like a movie, and try to remember those really great things about your day. The second really beneficial thing to journal is the to-dos that you have in your mind that you feel like you need to accomplish for tomorrow. A lot of times our sleep is disrupted by an active mind. Insomnia is an active mind problem. And so if we can sit down before the next day and get this stuff down on paper, make a to-do list, and it can be anything and everything that comes out of your mind, get it down on paper, I think a lot of people will see some tremendous benefit in that. So journaling is one option to add to your evening routine. And we're just looking to pick one thing here, something that's super simple and easy and doable. You can also consider having a cup of tea with some honey. We recommend this sleepy time tea that we fell in love with here recently, because it can be any herbal tea without caffeine. Also, you can consider reading a chapter in a book. A chapter, very doable with most books, I guess, depending on the book, but most books that I've encountered, a chapter is very, very doable. Also consider putting a puzzle together, playing a card game with your partner or some other kind of board game. And then also, one of my favorite things here recently is I got this knot tying kit. I was on a backpacking experience, and I was just, I didn't know how to tie some useful knots that I should have. I had to have someone help me with a couple of things, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn how to tie knots. So now I'm sitting there tying knots while Arnika's reading a book, and I'm loving it. Like, I'm getting really proficient at knots. So the other part of this sleep recommendations, in addition to getting some brightness in your own way, is to start to cultivate some kind of an evening routine before you go to bed. And then finally, for quiet time recommendations, last week we should have come up with a list of values and categories and maybe a vision for ourselves. What I'd like us to do this week is to continue showing up at our quiet time, our designated quiet time. And this time I want us to have 3 minutes of timed silence. And during that timed silence, there is no other instruction. You're just there. You're just present. You're listening. You're looking around. You're engaging the senses. And what you're going to notice from this is that there should be like an openness and a space that comes with that. There's just something about sitting there without a to-do list, without any other instructions. There's something about sitting there and engaging the senses that's very opening and very freeing. And so I want us to experience that. So 3 minutes. If you notice yourself start to drift away or get lost in thought, totally cool. Just come back and re-engage the senses. And there's no other instruction beyond that. Now, after that time, 3 minutes, take a moment, read over your values, your life categories, your envisioning statement, your paragraph, whatever it is that you put together for that first week, and then go about your day and have an amazing day. Okay? Make sure that you are using the diligence tracker and or the diligence calendar or your version of accountability. And then y'all make sure to comment, post your results, your questions, your feedback, your experiences, because we'd love to see that in there. We'd love to get some conversations going. All right, y'all make it a great week.